Welcome to the Art of Cashflow podcast, where we talk about real, authentic, genuine human beings that have started their real estate journey in a way for us to give back to all those thinking about getting into this endeavor, what it truly takes, both on the mental side, the strategy side, and of course, the community side as well. I'm your host, Calvin Chin, founder of Zencos. Let's get into it. All right, Addie, I appreciate you jumping on this Friday morning to the podcast and just letting everyone get to know the real Addie. So before we jump in, I just would love to ask, why don't you just give us a quick 30-second background about who you are, and we can use that as a jumping off point.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on, Calvin. Really appreciate you having me on your show. So a little bit about me. I'm located in the Bay Area. I have a 6-year-old son, one on the way, and
Hey.
baby daughter, due in August. And yeah, I guess a little bit about my history. So I worked in corporate biotech for over 10 years. I
Nice.
was at a large biotech company and really enjoyed my job at first, and then kind of stopped enjoying it like for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then I got laid off in 2024, which was actually the biggest blessing in disguise, because it kind of forced me to think outside the box and think, what am I going to do next? And my husband and I actually started investing in real estate in 2019. So my husband is the one who inspired me to start investing.
Yeah.
I grew up with my parents working corporate jobs every single day for my whole life. And then my dad actually got diagnosed with a neurological condition and can no longer work. So I saw that they just worked so hard all their lives when I was growing up. And my mom actually still works full time and watches my dad because my dad is handicapped. And so that was really hard because I saw, you work
Yeah.
every single day from 9 to 5, and then you hope to stay healthy so that you can enjoy retirement and play with your grandkids, but that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
So I saw that and I wanted to be more prepared for and have just an extra source of income in case something like that were to happen. So my husband's side is very entrepreneurial. They've always done real estate, so I kind of learned from that, and then started watching Bigger Pockets, reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, kind of like
Yeah.
everyone else starts. And yeah, and then we just started investing on the side in 2019. And by the time I got laid off in 2024, we already had a couple investment properties under our belt. So I decided then that I would do it full time and just focus on growing the business.
Yeah, I love that. A lot of things to talk through there. I mean, I think the first thing I want to talk about was actually the health piece of it, right? Because I think it's just sometimes we all forget about the importance of that. I mean, we work so hard, and when we were younger, we kind of disregard all that because we're like, oh, we'll never not be healthy. But
Hmm.
I had a long conversation with my dad yesterday too, and one of his really good friends from college is stage 4. It just got transferred to hospice care. Like he's may not be able to make it out of this weekend, and it just hits heavy, right? Because it's like people and it's like I guarantee if you ask him that, Addie, like your dad, like, hey, would you change anything? I'm sure he'd be like, I wouldn't work as hard, or I'd try to figure out a way to not stress myself to the point of sacrificing my health. There's a quote there's a quote from the Dalai Lama that I just you know, that I just love because it really helped me recenter everything. It was uh, man sacrifices health his whole life to obtain wealth, then spends his wealth to maintain his health on the second half of his life,
Yeah,
thus never ever living at all. And I'm like, whoa,
that's so true. Yeah.
yeah. So I love that. And so the other part I kind of heard from you was the whole layoff piece, right? Now, I think this is super important right now because I've been hearing so many people right now, and we live in the Bay Area. Tech
Mm,
is every industry is really changing right now, right?
yeah.
With AI, and I kind of see like two different kinds of people right now. And I'd love to kind of get into your brain of your mindset at that point too. But I see one type of person that's like, hey, the fear-based mindset, like, oh my God, I got laid up. I got to scramble. I got to like drop everything and like freaking find a job. And like, it's like my security
Mhm.
blanket. And then I see the other type of person that's like, hey, cool. Like, yeah, this is not planned, but like, what can I now do? Right. Because I look at it as like, I used to think that corporations were like the safest thing. Like you could always
Yeah.
find a job, right? And I worked at Oracle, right? So another big company, like your biotech company. And I was reading the other day, it was like people were getting like 30,000 people got laid off there
Yeah.
with like hella high stock options that were like 30-year vets of Oracle, like people that probably
Mhm.
thought that they were safe because they've been there forever. But it's
Yeah.
like you think like your corporation or your big Fortune 100 company is going to have your back.
Yeah,
Like,
you're just a number.
yeah, you're not sitting at the boardroom. Like, you don't know what they're talking about. Like, I guarantee you're not talking about, hey, Calvin or Addie. Like, oh, we got to make sure, Addie's pregnant. We got to make sure that she's good, right? It's like, now,
Yeah.
like, oh, like, they're just a number, right? And
Yeah.
it is what it is. So I guess in your mindset, like when you got laid off, like what was your initial kind of like, yeah, like reaction to it? And then how did you kind of like get to the point of saying, you know what, no, I'm just gonna commit to, investing and becoming a full-time investor.
Yeah. I think I was fortunate enough to have um another source of income, because people who only have that one source of income with their W-2, it's a bigger jump for sure, to pivot to like starting a new business or having like something completely new.
Yeah,
I think I feel lucky that we started in 2019 to be able to build up a little bit more
yeah,
income. Definitely not like a ton that it could replace my
right. But the
biotech.
source of income was the real estate income, right? It was like you
Yeah.
had some cash flow coming in already. Yeah,
Yeah, so it already had some cash flow. So I think I think just changing your mindset about not relying solely on one job. It's so hard because, the school
yeah,
systems teach you to get a good job and work forever until you're in your 65. But it's just a very different mindset. I have so many friends who are still stuck in that quote unquote rat race.
yeah,
And I think for people who like their job, it's fine. And if they stay healthy for years and years and years, it could be fine.
yeah,
But the moment you have like an emergency situation, um, or you get laid off, then you kind of have to think outside of the box and think, what can I do instead?
yeah,
Instead of working for someone and making someone else richer,
yeah,
what can I do with the skills I have to create something or
yeah,
to build something on my own? And I think that's such a different mindset because I didn't grow up with that mindset at all. I mean, I just saw everyday corporate working. My
yeah.
mom was so good at corporate work that
Yeah.
she groomed me to be a really good interviewer. Like I remember she would like practice interview questions with me in
No
high
way.
school. Yeah.
That's
Like
actually great.
I knew how to interview really well and like,
Yeah,
what not to say at work,
yeah,
to to trigger like bad thoughts. Like she was very good at grooming me and then
that's funny.
how to apply for, jobs. Like she really
Yeah,
groomed me to do that. So to think entrepreneurial was so different from what I was used to.
yeah. But okay, so I do feel like our parents' generation though, like the American dream was like get a good corporate job and stay at a company for like 30 years. And I do think that in our previous generation, like you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that was the right way back then. But like things have changed so much like that. I don't like affordability is just like crazy right now. Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't think like truly that you can just do that anymore. Like I either have to you said, I love what you said there about like, okay, I had a source of income already coming in. I mean, I've been like enough to like cover your income at that point, but like at least you had a proof of concept of it, right? And
Yeah.
I think what's the number? I think it's like seven. Like most millionaires have seven sources of income because
Mm.
yeah, you're right. We always think about the offense piece. We never think about the defense piece of like, okay, what if something does happen? Like, what if my
Yeah.
parents get sick? What if I have kids? Like, I'm working with
Yeah.
someone right now. They're like, oh yeah, we had twins, and they're both going to college at the same time, and we're like, oh crap, like we're gonna have two at the same time tuitions to pay, right? And it's like a big freak out moment, and it's like the defense is like, yeah, if you have like additional sources of income coming in, whether it's from real estate or other stuff, it's like you should. I think a side hustle nowadays is like it's a
Necessary.
necessity. Yeah.
Yeah, it's necessary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, it took me a long time to get to the point where I am now to decide to be a full-time real estate investor. Because
Yeah.
my husband was like, we should just quit our jobs and do real estate. And I
That's
was like, are you joking? Like, we
yeah.
spend, like transparently like $10,000 a month on all our, mortgage, gas,
Right.
all this, gas is so expensive now, daycare and everything. Like, and I was just, for me, like, I just kept thinking about that number. Like, how are we
Yeah.
gonna make more than 10K a month with just doing real estate? And I was like looking at the numbers that we make now,
Yeah.
versus what we need. And I think it's so hard to get past that, like,
Yeah.
because you just do your W-2 and then you just have the income coming in. And so for
Yeah.
me, it was a big shift to think, but how can I get, from A to B?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
So it
Yes,
was
the how
definitely
part
some
is
years.
the how part's really like I think so many people get stuck in the how right of it, but
Yeah.
it's like first you got to understand like okay, like the why piece because like I don't know, Addie, I mean you said something in the beginning there. You're like, hey, like I liked my biotech job in the beginning, and then I didn't, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are in that boat. It's like yeah, some people love their job, but like nowadays, would you say that you like I wouldn't even say like I don't love real estate, to be honest. I don't love a
You don't
job.
love real
I
estate?
don't love real estate. What I love is what it can do for me. I
Yeah.
love the vehicle. I feel like, and you tell me if you kind of feel the same way too, because you're in the same boat. But I love the ability to control my time,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And real estate is the vehicle that has allowed me to do that, right? And so if I want to, you know, hurt my daughter and take her to the or take my son to the park, like I can, right? Like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Really? I'm surprised that you say you don't love real estate. Just you're
yeah,
like a big
yeah.
real
I mean,
estate guy.
I love what it does for me, but I can't say like I love like doors and door frames,
Yeah,
drywall.
no, I know.
I don't, right? Like
I
I
love
don't like
waking up to
mudding.
plumbing issues. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't like water heaters breaking and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff and dealing with insurance. Like, but I do love. I will say this, Patty. Like I love the people aspect of real estate.
Yeah.
Like
I love that too. I love the time freedom aspect too, because when in 2020 when my son was born, I remember like I just couldn't ever drop him off at school. I think he was at preschool at the time, so I was never able to do drop off. Sometimes I could do pickup.
yeah,
But I just missed so many milestones during that time, and my husband had a more flexible job, so he did a lot of the pickups and drop-offs. But I remember asking my manager at the time if so my son went to a co-op school, which
yeah,
is like community-based,
yep,
where everyone helps out, and so
yeah.
I was
Voluntary
required.
and rotate, right? Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I actually liked that. I liked that we were part of teaching the kids and being part of them growing up. And so every Friday, I just need to go for 3 hours to do my shift. And I remember asking my boss at the time if I could do that, and I could just make up the hours afterwards. And she escalated it to the VP, and then the answer was no.
yeah.
Like I could not
Crazy.
do it.
Yeah,
But I just did it anyway. So
yeah.
I realized that I'm actually not too much of a rule follower. So like I shouldn't even have asked in the beginning. I should just done it anyway, but
Yeah,
I wanted to get her permission, but it's like, you're not gonna let me help out at my son's school, then, I'm not gonna
yeah,
be very motivated at
yeah,
this job,
yeah. Or have
after that.
loyalty. Yeah, it
So
goes back to the people aspect. It's like, hey, are we human beings or like we are also human beings? And I agree with you. I remember like seeing like my VP back in the day too. Like she was just such a robot. Like she was like even the way she talked was like
Yeah,
so authentic. It was,
my boss
yeah.
was like that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the corporate voice, like there's a corporate voice, and you're like, oh wow, like that's you're a robot, yeah. And
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like I'm sure they don't go home like, oh yeah, that's who I want to be too, but that's just how they have to be, I guess, to be in that position. But anyways, yeah, it's I think it's really funny, Addie, that both of our spouses were the ones that really wanted us to get into real estate. I'm in the same way as you actually. Like I was like very corporate and like, oh, I'm just
Oh
gonna climb
yeah.
the ladder, and my parents were the same way too. And all that stuff. And my wife, Jenny, was the one that was like, yeah, you should quit your job. I was like, that seems kind of risky. Right.
Yeah.
And now here we are. We're the ones really doing the real estate. So
Yeah. I know that's funny.
yeah.
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 So Jenny inspired you to get into real estate or just to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, she was the first really person to kind of make those big jumps and risks, and like she was the first person to quit her job. We both worked at Oracle, quit her job, she became a real estate agent. Um, she was the one that kind of like was like, hey, let's invest in a bunch of these masterminds when we didn't have any money in real estate, and that kind of got us in that mindset, right? And yeah, and it's just funny because then it's like they're the ones that like kind of like show us the path, and then we're the ones, maybe we're the integrators, they're the visionaries, we're
Yeah.
the integrators, maybe like,
Yeah.
and
Somebody
that's
has to prompt.
yeah, and her parents were the same way too. I mean, like as your husband's parents too, like they were immigrants. They didn't speak they still don't speak a lick of English, and they were able to acquire a bunch of real estate in New York, and that
Okay.
like kind of got them, from you know being like immigrants with like $50 in their pocket to like being to survive and make it, I guess, if you will. And it's like I always kind of look back at that and I'm always like, man, like if they could do it, and even to this day, like they're like, hey, can we get your guys' help to read this letter that we got in the mail? We don't even know what it says. And it's like, oh, this is a utility bill. It's like it's like we have no excuse. Like I know how to speak English. I have
Yeah.
an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Like, like if they could do it, then why the hell can I not do it, right? Kind of thing. So
Oh, so they also did real estate investing.
they did, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, and like they did like the house hacking. It's so funny because I think house hacking is now like Western popularized because like bigger pockets and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, dude, that like my parents, my dad, they did house hacking originally. Like it's really the immigrant story, right? It's like, oh, we
Yeah.
can't afford,
I
right?
know,
So
like
get a house.
multi-generational households in like one
Yeah,
big house. Yeah.
yeah. My dad grew up in like the hood of Boston, and his family was with my grandpa and his brother, right? They're both their families lived in a condo, like a 2-bedroom condo with like 10 people, right? And it's like that's house hacking. I mean, that's just necessity house hacking, right?
They just
Like,
don't call it house hacking. It's
yeah,
because American culture is very individualized. And
yeah,
so to share a space with someone or to rent out a part of your home is like a big deal.
crazy.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. So
Yeah,
then you have a term,
yeah.
house hacking.
Yeah. I also think that's wild to me because now we have my in-laws living with us and helping us with our kids. I'm like, and I know you have family in Singapore too, right? And like I know Singapore actually has a law. There's a tax break, right? So that if you live close to like your parents or your family, there's a tax break to it because they understand that longevity wise,
Oh, okay.
data shows that like you live longer if you're closer to your family.
Oh, that's
Right.
awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like, I don't, yeah. So I totally hear you. It's like individualize, like silo yourself. Right. But it's like, man, like freaking, it's a tribe. You need a tribe. Like that's how we
Yeah.
were like back in the day. Like that makes sense to me the most. So,
What do you think you would, if it wasn't real estate, did you have any other options for what you would do when you quit your job?
when I quit my job, if I were like, hey, I would just like, like passion stuff,
Hmm.
right? It'd be doing something with people and kids, which is I think why we have our nonprofit, to be honest. It's like I've always loved like the idea of like just helping kids out, and like I love like this is maybe my inner child, right?
Yeah.
Speaking like having kids, like I love it because I honestly just get to be a kid
Hmm.
again, right? And like play with like cars with my son and stuff. So I think it had something to do with. I think teaching was always something that I loved doing. And actually, Jenny too. I mean, she was actually going to do Teachers of America. That was her
Oh,
first job
wow.
offer out of college, was and Oracle. And
Okay.
her parents were like, "No way!" Like
That's
that
a hard job.
yeah, she was gonna be in like downtown Baltimore, right? Like,
Yeah.
and her dad was like, no, we didn't, help you get through college just so you could do Teachers America, like go take the
Yeah.
corporate tech job. And I'm glad, we got to connect. And but I think that's the whole point too, is like I think a lot of people do want to do that, like, things that they're passionate about, but sometimes their passion stuff doesn't pay their own bills, right? Like I
Yeah.
used to work with a lot of nonprofits back in when I was in my tech job actually. And we found that like they have the biggest turnover rate there because they can't pay their people well. And so like people join nonprofits as employees because they believe in the mission, but then they realize that they can't pay for their own like
I
their
see.
family, right?
Yeah.
And then they end up leaving and go to private sector. And so like it's kind of backwards where it's like in a way you kind of need to like fill your cup first, right? To
Hmm.
be able to do the mission stuff, because then it's like you're not like constrained by like finances and like living the life that you want to live too, right? To be able
Yeah.
to serve, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was something that we had to like learn too. It was like
Mm.
mentors that always told us like, hey, like yeah, you want to go do that stuff, yeah, go freaking go make it yourself, right? Because then you can pour in other people way
Hmm.
more and be
Yeah.
and be good with that, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so that's what I think what I would.
Nice.
I think it's what I'm glad everything, was how it turned out. I think everyone should focus on like building their foundation first, whether
Yeah.
it's real estate or stocks or business, right? And then go from there. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what about you? I mean, so I remember when we first started working with you, Addie, like you had the place in San Diego, you had your place in like Michigan, right? And I know like the whole conversation was like, let's go bigger, right? And so
Hmm.
like, kind of tell me that experience. So that you had your couple properties, you had laid off, some cash flow was coming in. Like, how'd you go from like, okay, I got these places to like, okay, let's go bigger and do multifamily, which is what you're doing now.
Yeah, I think I came to a similar realization as probably you a few years ago, where um, single family homes just weren't giving us the cash flow for the amount of effort we were putting into them.
Yeah,
And I think by the time I got laid off, we might have had like four or five.
yeah,
It just still wasn't making a dent
yeah,
that we needed to. And so I think getting laid off was like the motivation I needed to say, okay, I'm going to dedicate all my time and I'm going to join a coaching program and I'm going to dedicate all my time to getting something bigger to like see if it actually makes a dent.
yeah,
And so that's when I started trying to get into multifamily, learned a ton from you and the program. And yeah, and I love it. I love that it's more like a business, like
yeah,
um, putting together the partnership agreements, raising money,
yeah. Check
doing the
P&Ls, right? Look at the
structure.
data,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's very much
Yeah,
like a business, so I like that. Single family home was great to get started.
yeah,
But it's also like you're relying on one roof and
yeah,
one tenant,
yeah,
whereas multifamily, you're spreading out the risk over a number of
yeah,
tenants. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
love.
And nothing wrong with single family. I think it's the best like way to get started, right? Because it's a lower risk, like, and I think real single family houses, I think, are one of the lowest risk investments, like risk adjusted of all time, right? But it's a great training ground, right? But it's
Yeah.
not like you still are relying on a little bit of hope, right? Because like your appreciation is just like, hey, how's the area doing, right? Whereas
Yeah.
like multifamily, it's like, oh, it's straight numbers, like
Mhm.
it's a NOI cap rate base, right? It's like an EBITDA with business, like if I get to this kind of income, I know my property can be worth this. And
Yeah.
it's funny, I know you got Frank was telling me that you had a chance to connect with him. He's like, yeah, like Addie just told me to go bigger.
Really?
And
I don't even
yeah,
remember telling him that.
he said he talked to you, like John and Matt, and all y'all said like, yeah, just go bigger.
Yeah.
And I I had got that same advice from people as well. And I just think it's funny because like when you're in that position, you're like, what do you mean just go bigger? Like, of course it's easy to say
Yeah.
than do it, but it's true though. Like you just like you had that realization. Everyone kind of has that like realization. It's like, oh no, like I don't know anyone that has like 100 single family homes that's like crushing it, right? Like no
Yeah.
no one does, right? Like people always step up to like a bigger, whether
Maybe,
it's
but
like,
they'd have a lot of headache.
oh my God, so much headache. I mean, I know one guy who bought like a portfolio of single family homes and it's like rental, but it's like, but he also has like a lot of other commercial stuff. Like that's not his main thing. Yeah, he bought a portfolio
Okay.
kind of deal, like a built to rent place. But yeah, like it's just like it's a business. I always kind of say like real estate is like a gateway drug business because it kind of gives you a little
Yeah.
taste of it, right?
Yeah.
With being lower risk too, which is nice.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully I'll get another multifamily, like small to medium, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, but right now my multifamily is keeping me busy.
Okay, so tell me, and I think I know the answer to this, but like tell everyone here that will be listening, like, what's the biggest thing that you've learned, right? Now operating your 11 unit.
I think the biggest thing I've learned is to communicate to my investors transparently. So I have 8 investors on the deal, and it's a good starting point for me. I, I hope to do future deals where I have a ton more investors. But yeah, to communicate transparently, and then also that everything with multifamily and real estate is just problem solving.
Mm, yeah,
So I think there's a lot of things that you can freak out about. Like we had this, sewage from the top 2 floors spill into the first floor unit from, the tenant's toilet, which is really disgusting. And you could freak out and like not know what to do, but that's why you have your team. So you have your property manager and your contractor. So I think that's the biggest thing, like having a trusted team wherever your property is so that they can help problem solve with
yeah,
those issues. And we've already gone through a lot of them, so I'm
yeah,
really grateful.
yeah. I think that's a great piece of advice and bring listener. It's like I feel like resilience is the word that comes up. I was talking to another student about this too. They're like, I mean, how do you deal with like I got a water heater broke and like it flooded, my floors. I'm like, dude, that happens like every day for me. And I'm like, this just doesn't bother me anymore. Right. It's just like it's part of the
Yeah.
process. Like it's like I know it's gonna happen eventually. So you
Yeah.
you
I
plan
mean,
for it.
like what my
But
husband says too is like, if it was easy, then everyone would do it.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I,
People think it can be easy because social media
yeah,
can portray it as being easy. Like, oh yeah, you just get cash flow every single month.
yeah. No,
Nothing, no issues
you
happen.
manufacture cash flow for sure. But
Yeah.
I will say this, right? It's like multifamily is hard.
Yeah.
And if everyone could do it, they would. But oh my God, it's so rewarding, right? Like you get so much out of it. And it's like that you don't realize when you're in a single family. You're like, oh, maybe maybe it's just how real estate is, right? And like, no, it's not. Like go into the bigger deals and you'll see real fast. Oh my God. Like one
Yeah.
deal can change your life.
Hmm.
I think this 11 unit is probably gonna like change your life because it's like that jumping off point, right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
been there's been a few deals in my life where I'm like, wow, that deal really made it such a huge like dents in my
Such a
life.
big learning curve. But
Yeah,
I feel like, yeah, I've like catapulted my real estate learning
right,
journey.
right. And if you could do multifamily, I mean, you deal with. I think if you do multifamily, you can run a business. You can do any kind of real estate deal because it requires you to do every single piece of it, right? And I think the cool part is like that I like about like multifamily is like there's so many businesses that you can do as part of your multifamily, like vertically integrate, right? It's like we have our PM company now. We're looking at buying an HVAC company and plumbing company because we're like those are our biggest expenses, so why don't we
All
just pay
right.
ourselves, right? And it's like
Yeah.
there's so many things that you could build on top. And I think that's like I don't know. It's funny, Addie. Like, I know we came from like our upbringing is like corporate, right? But like, I remember in my hometown, like when people would drive up to like Safeway in their Porsche, I'd be like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I'm in real estate, and I never knew
Okay.
what that meant. I had a friend that
Probably
business
thought it was like a real estate
agent. Yeah,
agent.
that's what
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Like we had a friend that just had this baller ass house, and like was always like super well off. All I knew from what my friend I asked her like, hey, what do your parents do? Like, oh, they're in real estate. Never knew what the heck that
Yeah.
meant. Right, but really, what I found out was they actually went to real estate in San Francisco and bought like in the 80s and stuff.
It's kind
So,
of like not a well-known career, I would say. I
Yeah.
mean, real estate agent, yeah, everyone knows, but um
Yeah.
yeah, not it, I would say like now that I'm in the community, I know so many people, but when you
Yeah.
aren't in the community, it's
Yeah.
not very common.
Yeah. But I think even multifamily is even smaller, right?
Yeah.
And I do want to shout you out, Addie, because I would say really two things, right? Like one is, man, multifamily, especially, when we go to these conferences, what's the demographic? Old white
Yeah, white
guy.
males.
Old white guy, right? And
Yeah.
so like, you're kind of beating two kind of minority kind of things in there. Like I don't see a lot of women in general, and I definitely don't see a lot of Asian people in general either, right? So I just want to shout you out because it is it's there is a barrier still, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing it, right? I love your idea. I think you had told me it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do like an all women's like GP team. I think is or like Charlene and stuff. And I think that's freaking awesome, right? Like, I
Hmm.
think there needs to be more of that just to show like people that it's like possible, right? Because I think the archetype I see all the time, a lot of it's also generational. Like I think
Yeah.
friends that are like, their parents are white people, right? And then their
Hmm.
sons become brokers, right? And then
Hmm.
it just kind of continues that cycle, right? And I don't know, I was scared when I was jumping in. Like I thought I was too young and I was not the right skin color. But what I found out was like it's not about any of that. That's a limiting belief on our own end,
Yeah.
right?
I have to get that too. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you come across right as someone that's confident that can do it and just a good person to do business with, then none of that actually matters, is what I've learned. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that used to bother me too when I would go to meetups, like
yeah,
all guys. And
yeah,
I would
yeah,
go to the conference, it's all guys too. But
yeah,
now like it just doesn't even faze me
yeah,
like, at
yeah.
all because I've been doing it so much and
Yeah, you could talk to talk now, right? It's
yeah,
like
I'm
yeah,
more
this is
comfortable,
yeah,
yeah, doing real estate investing. So,
yeah,
yeah, it doesn't really matter what gender you are or what the color of your skin is. I mean, yeah, exactly what you said. But if you can
yeah,
do business together, then you could potentially partner with them, or
yeah,
it could be a good resource.
yeah. It's an energy exchange, and your property managers, your contractors, they're all partners with you,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think that's the right way to do business. So, all right, Addie, last question here. 2026, we're recording this right now. What's your big theme that you're stepping into this year?
Well, so I started off the year wanting to really purchase another multifamily, a bigger multifamily, like 30 to 50 unit, in Indianapolis, trying to scale my portfolio there. And also join forces with other women to form an all-female GP team. But to be honest, it's been very slow. And I think I'm okay if that goal goes into next year as well, since I'm
Yeah.
expecting a baby.
Yeah, just creating life. So,
Yeah. So I was like really trying to do this by August, but I think realistically it might go into next year. So
yeah,
that is my next big goal. Yeah, and I really want to form more partnerships. So
yeah,
I think a lot of people start off real estate investing on their own, doing deals on their own. I mean, I did, this latest deal with 8 partners, but
yeah,
I'm still doing all the operations. So I'd really like to form additional partnerships to
yeah,
work in teams so that some of this work doesn't feel so lonely.
yeah. That's the most beautiful part. I think it's like the best like realization that I think we all probably have at some point is like it can be lonely if we do it together. So just do it with people, right? And it becomes way more fun. It's about longevity in this game
Yeah.
too, right? And it's like if you're like, oh, I have a huge win, just myself. Okay, cool, awesome. Like no else, like then it becomes boring, right? So it's like be able to do it with a co-pilot, if you will. So for anyone that is listening to this in the community or out there, like you're looking for a partner, Addie's out there too, right? So
It's also like thinking about like for creating generational wealth. Like you don't want to be the only one that creates that generational wealth and is able to go to the beach or go on vacation
Yeah,
when all your friends are, slaving away, working hard. You want to be able
yeah,
to celebrate and create
yeah,
that wealth with others.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. There's I really love this like quote. It's like who do you want at your retirement party,
Hmm.
right? You want all your friends to be able to make it out there too. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
right? Because they're retired, right? So I love it. All right, guys. So have a huge retirement party. That's what this is all about. So, Addie, I appreciate the time
Much.
and all the feedback. So, cool.
Thanks, Calvin. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for listening to the Art of Cashflow podcast. If you want more and this spoke to you, then we'd love to see you and meet you in person. You can click this link below to get if we're going to be in your neighborhood soon. We look forward to seeing and meeting every single one of you guys. God bless. Have a great day. Bye.